Hey there, Gustavo. Nice to meet you and nice to have you on launch day.
Hey, Gobble, how are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. So, for people who don't know you, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show today. My name is Gustavo. I'm indie maker from Belgium, and I've been building mobile apps for like 10 years now.
Wow,
So
okay.
yeah, I also love sharing tips, about my learning, my insights on Twitter, X, everything from coding strategies to marketing hacks. So yeah, super excited to talk with you today.
Awesome, man. Where are you in Belgium? Because I'm pretty close. I'm in
Really?
France. I'm in Lille.
Oh man,
Uh,
we're a neighbor. I'm like in Brussels.
oh, cool. Yeah, I went there not so long ago.
Okay,
Awesome.
nice.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have some family in Belgium too.
no
So,
way. What a
interesting.
small world, yeah.
And you're from Belgium originally, or you moved there? Uh,
Originally I grew up, I was born in Brazil and I grew
yeah,
up in
okay.
Belgium. Yeah, so I went to Belgium when I was, I think, yeah, 3 or 4 years old. And I spent, yeah, my whole life in Belgium, but I also
Yeah,
lived
cool.
in different countries since then.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
so you said you've been doing this for 10 years. Is it like you mean like you had a job as a developer or like freelancing? What were you doing?
Well, I was a freelancer up to this summer, and then I made the switch to being an indie maker full time. And since then, I'm like 100% committed to my project because I've always been passionate about building like my own apps, like putting my own projects out there. And yeah, I've been
Yeah.
doing that full time now. It's been like super rewarding.
And so is it your first project that you build like this, or did you build some other ones in the past?
No, no, I've been doing that. I think at the same time as I started working as a freelancer and employee, it's been more than 10 years. I always had, ideas of apps in my mind. And whenever I had time, I tried to work on them, release them, and years after years, I picked up, a few tricks on how to ship faster, how to
Yeah.
validate a problem, and not build something that basically nobody wants. And yeah, so I've been doing that for 10 years.
That's awesome. And did you because like for me, I never managed to do because I freelanced for a long time, then I also had the job for a while. And I never managed to do two things. Like if I do this, it's almost impossible for me to work on my side projects.
Yeah, honestly, it's been tough for some times, I think the key is really to try to find a problem that's affecting yourself personally, that you really
Oh
want a
yeah.
solution for it, right? At least for me, that's really what drove me to push it, So I've been making different apps and they're all related to like my life.
That's interesting you're saying that because that might be the solution indeed. Because I notice for me the problem is if I'm freelancing or having a job, I make money already. And
Right.
so you don't have this motivation.
Yeah, you
You
got
know, you
to have like another motivation behind.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's very tempting to just roller coaster,
So
the
for me,
job.
my solution is
Yeah.
right now I have almost no money left. I have a few months
Mm,
and I'm decided I will not take a job and I will not freelance.
mm.
So I have
Well,
to make it.
that's a
But it's
huge
big
motivator for sure.
yeah, but you have to find a way because it's one of the hardest things is to stay motivated. And especially like
Definitely.
when it becomes because like what's gonna be scary is like launching, for example. Like
Mm,
finally launching the product is very scary. So if you
yeah.
don't have a motivator, you will never launch. Like for me, I had before like let's say 5 years ago, I was doing so many projects and I never launched anything. I have like
Mm.
whole directories in my computer of dead projects that never launched because I had other income streams and everything.
I can
So
definitely relate to that. It's not like a one night thing, you're not like born this way. I think you have to kind of build up the courage and the muscles to ship and put
yeah,
yourself out there. It takes a lot, like you're really vulnerable, when you showcase your app, like you have this imposter syndrome, like saying
yeah,
oh
exactly,
man, I made something
exactly.
shitty, nobody wants to download it. And then you end up with your first sale and you're like, oh my God, somebody bought it. What's going on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Wow.
like, year
Yeah.
after year, you kind of slowly, it's like a long process, but it gets better,
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Right now I haven't launched launch day yet. We're
Mhm.
recording this. There is not a launch day yet, and I'm like scared about it. But yeah,
Mhm.
I will get there. What
Yeah.
helps is like I pre-sold. Like for example, you paid for your spot, and other people paid for their spots.
Mhm.
So it validated it. It makes me think, okay, it has some value. So
Definitely,
it's
yeah.
motivating because when you
Yeah, I believe
build
so, yeah.
alone and nobody bought anything, you can very quickly, like when you lose the excitement, then you're like, yeah, nobody cares anyway, so you can just
Mm,
forget. But when you start selling, it's useful.
no, 100% for sure.
Okay, so can you tell us like how you came to make your current product that you're presenting now? Like how did you get this idea? Like how did you get there?
Yeah, sure. So I think, it all started. I mean, I'm sure you know the numbers, but basically, on average, like we spend like what 4 to 5 hours on a day on our phone, and
Yeah.
it's almost like a reflex. Where you're waiting in line for coffee or waiting for a friend, and like boom, the phone's in your hand already. You don't even
Oh
remember how
yeah,
you
for
got there,
sure.
and you end up like doom scrolling, and that happened to me. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But I end up,
Hmm.
consuming all this content that, yeah, let's be honest, mostly it's garbage for your mind, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's not really productive. It doesn't really make me feel more happy, in my life. So it got me thinking, can I turn like all this kind of little idle time into something more productive? And that's first how I got this idea of making something that helps you fight, your social media addiction, right?
Okay.
But also like on a personal note, like as we discussed before, like I grew up learning different languages and I lived in different countries. So I got the opportunity, to study English, Portuguese, like even Japanese and Chinese. And with time, I've picked up like a few tricks, on how I can, build up like vocabulary and learn languages
Okay.
more easily. And so I
Okay.
wanted to, combine like those lessons into something productive. And that's how my app Gobble came into life.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting because I didn't look before, so I didn't know that was your app. That's very interesting because for 2 days I've installed Duolingo and I started because my girlfriend is Russian, so I'm learning
Mm.
Russian and she's learning French, so we can
Oh,
speak
nice.
together. I mean, we speak in English, but it would be
Yeah.
better to have native language, and it's fun. And I noticed for literally, like, it's so funny. Like literally 1 hour ago, I was in the toilet and I was for the first time. Oh, I'm gonna open some productive thing, a language app, instead of just scrolling like an idiot, and I
Yeah.
felt good. So that's very interesting that that's what
Yeah.
we're talking about now. So now I want to see what you're doing because that sounds super. I
Sure.
totally relate to this thing. So I'm curious to see.
Sure. Do you want me to share the screen so I can demo the app?
Yeah, yeah, you
All
can do
right.
the demo. Yeah.
All right. So can you see my phone there?
Yep, all good.
All right. So this is a pre-recorded video of basically how you use my app Gobble. So here I have Instagram installed and Gobble is next to it. And
Oh,
as
I
you can
love the
see,
icon. The icon is
thank you.
really cool.
Thank you.
It stands out. It's very original.
That was my goal, so I'm glad you like it. So yeah, you can see that Instagram is already fighting for my intention. I have three pending notification. I
Yeah,
definitely want to
yeah,
open them. I cannot support having, like, I cannot stand having like those
yeah. I
icons
agree. Yeah.
there. But anyway, so what you do after you install Gobble is that you're presented with a screen that asks you which app you want to
Oh,
block. And it could be category like social apps, games, entertainment, but it could also be like specific apps, because
yeah,
maybe you want to use Messenger to communicate with your family, but you don't want to block, but you still want to block Facebook, for instance, right?
yeah.
Anything can go there. You can choose apps. You can even choose websites. And after you've made your selection, Instagram is blocked. So you don't see the notification anymore.
Oh,
The icon is grayed out. You can still open the app, but what happens when you open the app is that you're presented with this screen. Let's say, hey, you can use Instagram, but how about practicing a language before, right?
this is. I had no idea on iOS you had permissions to do something like this, like block
Yeah,
some other
it's
people's
not
apps.
really
Oh my God.
documented, I would say. It's possible. Documentation is not super clear from Apple neither, but you can do it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
So you can block all of your competitors' app. Like you can see if there's Duolingo, you can just block it. No, practice a language with this.
exactly. You can even
Wow.
block app blockers. Yeah, you can go meta about it.
And but like, just for curiosity, like, do you have to ask for permissions? And did you already do it before? Like,
I did
does
it
it
before,
ask
like,
you?
yeah, there's this whole onboarding process because
Yeah. Okay.
Apple is super strict about privacy, and
Yeah,
it's a
that's what
good thing,
was
of course, because
surprising.
I'm not tracking like which apps you have blocked, right? Because it would be crazy if I know that you don't want to go to like naughty websites or other,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
social
for
media.
sure. Yeah.
I cannot know that, and it's a good thing. So I did, during the onboarding process, I explained to users the reason why I'm asking permission and what it entails.
Okay.
Really, reassuring them that I'm not tracking anything. I cannot even, it's not even possible with the API to do it.
Yeah.
And then they accept the permissions, and only after that they can, start blocking their apps. Yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so when you're on that screen, basically, yeah, I ask you to go back to Gobble, right? So you can either manually go back there to unlock Instagram, or you receive a notification. When you tap on it, you're like automatically redirected to the app. I cannot open Gobble for you, but that's like a bit of friction for users. At least they think, more consciously
Oh no,
before opening
definitely. It's
Instagram.
kind of
Yeah,
like this built-in time, like you spend too much time.
yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
this screen. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really interesting
So
idea.
also in the app, like you can choose different languages. Here I picked up Japanese, and I'm basically have like those 5 words to review as a multiple choice questions, and I can just run through my reviews, select whatever answers I have. Also,
Mm.
those are like really easy words, so I can just rush through them. But it's just a short amount of session, and only after that Instagram will be unlocked, right? So I just completed my reviews, and
Wow.
now I can use Instagram. I can browse my feed as I regularly do. But what's nice too is that in the app I can choose for the amount of time that Instagram will be unlocked. So it could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes, could be like 1 hour.
And then
Uh,
you have to do it again and to do
and then yeah,
new lessons.
it automatically gets blocked again, and you have to redo your lesson next time you open them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's the whole concept of learning instead of using bullshit social media app.
Mm.
I love this. And so is there just for now, what kind of lessons do you have? Like how does it uh, is it just words like this for now?
So for now, I support for English speakers, I support Spanish, French, Japanese. And for French speakers, I support the same language, but English on top of that.
Yeah.
Um, and there's also a feature in the app that lets you import CSV files, so you can just use whatever you want there. But for the future, I definitely plan, for instance, to integrate AI to let users generate their flashcards for themselves in whatever language they want,
Yeah, I
for whatever
see.
topic they want. So for instance, it's really like complex to learn a language. You can know
Yeah,
like
for
all
sure.
the
So
words.
for now, it's a
Yeah,
flashcards to remember words to for vocabulary mostly, I guess.
exactly. Because most of the
Okay,
time,
cool.
if you know a lot of words, you get a sense of the language. You get the meaning. It doesn't mean like you can speak perfectly. I mean, it's not. There's no silver bullet for that. But if you end up like without too much hassle, after days, you end up like building like hundreds and thousands of words just by
Yeah.
those short sessions, just by and reducing also like your scrolling time. So I think it's
Yeah.
definitely helpful for people.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I can really see this potential of learning instead of using an app like this.
Hmm.
Wow. So cool, man.
Thanks.
And so what's on the roadmap right now? What are you planning to build?
So the app is new, like it's been released a few months ago, but I've received like great feedback so far, and a lot of users are asking me for new languages.
Yeah.
So for instance, you say you're learning Russian. I have a couple
Yeah.
of users asking for Russian. I don't speak Russian, so it's a bit difficult, to provide those language. But that's
Yes.
why I'm thinking about adding, AI. Also added, those CSV file import. So at the end of the day, I want that any users could learn the language of his choice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you stick with vocabulary cards for now, it's kind of like easier to do that,
Mhm.
even if you don't know all the languages.
Yeah. And
Cool.
gradually, I think we can also add content around full sentences instead of just individual word because I think context is important, when you're learning
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
word.
yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely on the roadmap as well.
Awesome. So is it free? Is it paid? How much is this app?
So it's a freemium model. So the basic core feature of the app is free, which means you can block apps and you can unlock them by studying words. And there
Yeah.
are a few premium features such as blocking websites in addition of apps.
Yes. Okay.
Also blocking unlimited apps because I have a limit on the number of apps you can block for now. And importing CSV files as flashcards. That's also a premium feature.
And how
And
much is the premium? How
yeah,
much does it
so
cost?
annually, it's about $15 US dollars, and there's
Per
also a
month or
lifetime
per year?
per year, sorry. And
15 per
yeah,
year. So, oh,
yeah,
that's very little. Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gonna increase in pricing because I'm adding more content, I'm providing more value. But for
Yeah,
now,
yeah, for sure. But you're starting
I want to
low and
test the
getting
yeah,
users.
I want to test the
Yeah.
waters, really understand what users want first,
Yeah,
because
yeah, for sure.
my goal here is really to help them before. And yeah, there's also a lifetime deal for I think $40, and a monthly plan for five.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks, man. That's giving me many ideas. This iOS API. Oh, is it just on iOS or is it Android too for now?
Ah,
Think. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah, it seemed like
I think my
there
AirPod,
was a change in your device, maybe your
my
AirPods.
AirPod just went dead. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but just keep going. It's okay. It's
right.
recording.
Um, yeah, I think that API is definitely on iOS because I'm using it. But I think Android has something similar, but I'm not familiar with the specifics there.
Yeah. So for now, just iOS.
Hmm.
Awesome, man. Well, I hope launch day brings you a lot of users,
I
and
hope
more people
so.
are going to try this so you get more feedback and you can make the app better over time.
Yeah, I
So
definitely want, listeners that, to try the app and, send feedback. They can send feedback through the app via email or they can reach out to me on X. I'm really open for suggestions anyway, so really looking forward to that.
that's awesome, man.
Uh,
Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. Have a nice day.